Hello everybody and welcome to Krista So Crafty. Today I want to show you a cool project I'm working on. Burton Avenue has a file or a tutorial on how to make the DIY mason jar tissue holder. They're so cute and I think that I would like to try them. When you get here, I will link this file down below for you as well. But if you scroll down, it tells you exactly what it is you need. So you need all of these supplies here. And the very last one is a cut file. So it's a tissue jar sayings, and it's BA1491, and you can get it through her resource library. So when you click on here, you have to put in your name, your first name, and your email address, and she will give you the code, and then you can go and find this. So I've already found it. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go upload image and browse. And it should just be right here in my downloads. And it gives you all four of these. So you can take these and save them. And I'm get to this point. I always want to stop and put the file name. So this is a tissue jar sayings, and it's from Burton Avenue. That way I always give credit to the person who designed these SVGs because they're not mine. I didn't design them. I'm just going to use them. Once I get that on there, I'm going to click upload and it's going to bring it in. And here's our four options. I think I'm just going to use this one. Now, all four of these are grouped together. So if you click on it and then go over to the top right and click on ungroup, it will separate these into individual files. I think I'm going to use this one, a tissue for your issue. So I'm going to take these three and I'm just going to delete them. It's in my upload file now. See, I have it there twice. So I'm just going to delete one. Delete. So it's up here already if I need to use it again. So now, once I have this, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save this because I do not want to lose this. So I'm just going to type Kleenex, Kleenex tissue jar. And I'm going to click save. That way I have it in case something happens, power surge or something silly like that. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to measure our jar, and I'm going to use a quart jar, by the way, and it's just an old one that I have around here. It's actually a gem jar. I think it's an antique, but the problem is it's rusted and it's got so much stain on it that I can't use it for canning. So I'm going to repurpose it into a tissue jar. I'm going to measure that and then we'll cut this out, and I think I'm just going to do it on like a black vinyl. All right, so this is the jar I was talking about, and as you can see, it's definitely seen better days. I have scrubbed it. I have run it through my dishwasher, and it's just, and see, there's even like, I don't know if you can even see it, right up here, there's rust in there and it won't come out. I have scrubbed and tried all kinds of cleaners. So I thought, let's change it into a tissue holder. This is a quart size jar. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure the front here just to see. Probably, is that square? I'm just looking at the file here. It's pretty close to square, not quite. It's a little bit taller than wider. So if I were to make it, it has it as 4.139, and I think that's too big for my jar. So I think I'm gonna go 3.5 tall. So let's change this on here. So I'm going to change the height to 3.5 and just push tab on your keyboard, and then it'll reshape everything and keep everything in proportion. So I think that's going to be a good size for what I want. So I'm just going to give this a save. I like to save often. And we're just going to cut this out. So I'm going to click on make. And I have a Cricut Maker. Oh dear, look at what happened. I didn't realize that the file was not connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click cancel. It's not a big deal. I'm going to click on the design and I'm going to go down to combine down on the bottom right, and I'm going to click on unite. What this does is it makes it all into one file now. And if I did want to change it, the nice thing with the unite is I can go back in and click undo unite, and then I could make changes if I wanted to individual pieces. But for now, I'm going to leave it the way it is. So I'm going to click save again and click make. And as I was saying, I have a Cricut Maker. Not that it matters. You can do this on any of the machines. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to click continue. There it is. And I'm just going to use regular vinyl.
Okay, I have a scrap piece of vinyl. Now this is Oracle 651. If you like, I can link it down in my Amazon storefront below. I'm going to place this on my mat. You always want to make sure that you have enough if you're using scraps so that you don't cut it and then not have the right amount. I like to use my brayer to make sure it's all laying down nice. I'm going to open up my Cricut and insert my mat. And I always like to double check my blade to make sure that there's nothing stuck on it. And if you are concerned, you can just take a little piece of tin foil all balled up and just kind of, I press on the button and just poke in there. Now what that does is, I think it sharpens it a bit, but not a bunch, but it also cleans it off if there's any glue built up or anything from the vinyl. So just a little piece of tin foil will do. And I'm gonna put this in here, press cut, and now we just have to wait for this to cut out. While I'm waiting for that to finish cutting, I'm going to take some 70% rubbing alcohol and I'm going to clean my jars so that when I go to paint it and to add the vinyl, it's going to be nice and clean. So I just have a little paper here, like a paper towel, and I'm just going to rub all around here. Just gets off all the lint and any oils from your fingers or any lotions. You don't want that on there. It could stop the paint from sticking, and we don't want that. So I'm just going to rub all the way around, and I'm just going to let this sit and dry while we weed our vinyl. Perfect timing. I'm just going to cut off the excess. I don't want to waste it. And we'll save that for another project. And we'll just weed this. Just take your time and get the weeding all done. Lots of swirls on this. That should be a nice coverage. See, and right there seems to be a lot. So trying to make a nice even coat all the way around. And I'm not going to paint up in here. Really don't need to paint up there. So I'm just going to quickly do this. And then we have to play the waiting game and let this dry. Round two. Definitely needs 2 coats. So let's show you. You see the kind of streaks in there. Now that could absolutely be me, but I just thought I'd give it 2 coats so it's nice and thick and totally covers. Just trying to make sure I get the paint inside the letters. Of course, that's going to be at the back of the jar, but still, if you're going to do something, you might as well do it right. Oh, such a beautiful red. And again, I'm just going to leave it to dry. I'll see you in a few minutes. So this is the next day. I was busy doing stuff and I had to let this dry and it got really dark in here. So it's now the next day. I am going to take some Mod Podge and I'm going to paint this on here just because it is a paint and I don't want it to chip off. This will give it a layer of protection. If you have a spray sealer, you can use that. I'm just going to use this. I'm going to paint just a thin layer on here. And this will help protect it. Okay, let's get around here. I want my brush strokes going up and down, but I want this rim here where I've painted, I want it coated. Now I can get this painted on here. This brush keeps losing bristles. So now we'll let this dry.
We also need these circles. Now these circles came in really small. These circles are what's going to be placed between the Kleenex and the jar ring. I made these 3 inches because that was the size of my ring. So you make yours whatever size will fit your ring. And I'm going to make 2 of them because I want it strong. And now I'm going to click on make. I'm just going to click continue. And when this comes up, I'm going to click on cardstock. I want to use a medium cardstock. This will just give some stability to the top.
So here's our jar. It's nice, looks very good. And we have our SVG, our image, and I have some transfer tape. So I'm going to just peel off this transfer tape. And I'm going to lay it out on here. I have to go this way. Like so. Can you see what I'm doing? Not quite. I just put the transfer tape on here. Okay, so once we get that all burnished down, we can peel this off. Wonderful. We can bring in our jar. So I'm just going to move this over a little bit. So I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to find where I want to place this. So mine has the gem and everything. I don't know if you can quite see that. So that's here. So I want to lay it down like that. And now this is going to go here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 layers. So I'm going to do the bottom layer as black. And I'm going to do a white layer over top. So we'll just press this down. Be very careful when you're lifting this up. You don't want to lift up any paint. Shouldn't with the Mod Podge on there. Just watch your vinyl stays down. Just go slow. Whoa. Just use my fingernail. You can also use your scraper. And we'll just go nice and easy. And if it starts lifting up like I was doing, just push it back down. Okay, so that's the one layer. I'm going to get my white layer and put over top of it. I think it'll just pop a little bit more. And then we can continue on. Sorry about the glare. Maybe that'll help a little bit. So here's my white one I cut out. And it's same size and everything, but I'm just going to offset it and move it down by just a little bit. And what that does is it creates like a shadow. And it just helps things to pop a little bit more. All right, let's get this off. Oops, stay down. push that down. There we go. Oh, that looks so good. See what a difference that made, right? It just makes it pop. I cut out 2 of the cardstock rings, but I also cut out a piece of plastic canvas. Now, this is not necessary, but I just thought if I were to put that in between, it would just make this a little bit more stable, so then when it's in here, it's not just going to be cardstock. I think that'll work good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these together and make one cohesive thing. So I'm just going to get some hot glue on here. I'm going to press this down in here. I'm going to get it as straight as I can, careful of the hot glue, of course. And I'm just going to put some hot glue on here. Now I don't want this totally covered in glue. I just want it enough that it's going to hold. So I'll put this on here and make sure that that's on here nice and straight and press it down. Now I have a nice ring that will fit inside of my lid. So what I'm going to do is I have a couple little pieces. I don't know if you can see them right there that are kind of sticking out. Just going to trim them off. Now, if you don't have plastic canvas, you could use like a lid from a butter container or sour cream cottage cheese container and cut out your ring and make it the same size. That would work as well. But then see, that just gives it some stability, and so it's not just paper. Now, off screen, I went ahead and made a flower. I'm going to put this on my tissue holder. So I have a video showing you exactly how to make this. So I will put a link up here for that. So that's what I'm going to use. And I'm also going to use some jute. I'm going to get myself a fresh cut here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the end of that. That's just going to help to hold those little fibers together. And just get that stuck on there. So I'm going to start on the back. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue right here. And that is what is going to tack this down and hold it in place. So we'll give that a second to set. And then I'm just going to wrap this. Now I'm going to overlap that one a little bit just to kind of help hold it in place. And then all the other ones I'm going to wrap so that it's below the one before it. Does that make sense? Just like that. So I'm just going to wrap it for as long as I can with the... Okay, so we don't want it to end in the front. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right there. And hold that in place for a second. And then just whoop, trim this off. And then when we put this back on, what's going on here? There we go. There, see, that's looking good. That looks good. And then I'm going to glue the flower onto here so that we can remove this easily to get the tissues in and out, okay? So let's put a bunch of glue on there, and then I'm going to stick it right like that. Putting a lot of glue on there because I want it to stick good. I'm going to put it right there. We're going to hold that in place. Okay, then I can take this off and put our ring in there, and I'm just going to go get some Kleenex. So here I have just some Kleenex out of a box. And so here's our top one. So I'm going to fold it up. Just going to lay this out. Actually, I'm going to do it from the other side. So I'm going to lay this top piece up so it's ready to go. And I'm going to kind of roll this just loosely. Don't roll it real tight. And then we're just going to take it and put it inside of our jar like this. And now I'm going to, it's probably easier if I do it like this. Put it through the paper, and then I'm going to put it through the ring and put the ring on here. Now, if you wanted, we could have made that red or any other color. And there's our tissue box. So then you pull this out and you have another tissue. Isn't that just so fun? Can you see this in so many different colors? Whatever colorway your bathroom is, I think it just looks so nice. And it's a good way to use up those jars that, you know, can't be used for canning anymore, and you really don't want to use them in your pantry for dry foods or anything like that. It's really cute and very functional too. So it's a great way to use up a jar that you can't use in your canner. I want to thank you for joining me today on Krista So Crafty. I really had a lot of fun making this. I just think it turned out so nice. I love the flower accent on there, and I still really like the double layer of the vinyl. It just makes it pop a little bit more. This was a lot of fun to make, and if you do want to make it, absolutely go check out Burton Avenue. I will put a link down below for the tutorial on this. But I think it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to put this into my bathroom. Thank you again for joining me today, and happy crafting.